around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on 18.
Welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events, and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system, and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at these topics. First, Abia State, APC, PDP panic as ex-governor, former speaker support OT. And then to Nasarawa State, PDP says it's time for women to be governors. And then to the late Wigwe, Rep member blast Senator Akpabio for speech at funeral. And finally, we look at Labour Party. Court asked to deregister Labour Party, ban its candidates. Do not go away. When I come back from this break, we'll delve right into the show.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
on the point of order.
Honorable
On the point.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in political land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we at this?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth. The oppressors.
All Nigerians can come and salvage us from where we are.
With me on the show today is Dr. Emmanuel Irayenama. Dr. Emmanuel is a management consultant and socio-political analyst. Good morning, Dr. Emmanuel.
Good morning once again. Good morning, listeners.
On to the story. Members of the Conference of Former Speakers of Abia State House of Assembly have said that they are highly impressed with Governor Alex Oti's achievements so far in office. They assured the governor that they would stop at nothing towards supporting his government to excel. The former speakers, who are members of the People Democratic Party and All Progressive Congress, made the pledge on Friday after accompanying Governor Alex Oti to inspect ongoing road contracts in Aba. Speaking during a visit to the governor, some of the former speakers, including Right Honorable Stanley Ohajuruka and Right Honorable Ude Okochukwu, the immediate past deputy governor of the state, said elections have come and gone and what is expected now is governance. He said, as critical stakeholders in Abia, we want to assure you that we will bring our wealth of experience to bear in supporting you. Elections have come and gone, and what is expected is governance. We will offer advice, cooperation, and support where needed towards ensuring Abians reap dividends of democracy, he said. Also speaking, the immediate past deputy governor and also former speaker Ude Okochukwu said they were appreciative of what Governor Oti was doing in the state and would support him to achieve his goals. According to Okochukwu, Abia is our own. It belongs to all of us, and that is the reason we are happy with what you are doing. We are here for you in whatever capacity and whatever role we will play. We are quite impressed. We have gone out, we have seen things for ourselves. We have seen what you have done. Responding, Governor Oti thanked the group for identifying with him and the things he is doing in the state. He stressed that leadership is about service and stewardship, saying that it was for that reason that he needed to be close to the people and monitor and keep contractors on their toes. However, reports have it that the Friday endorsement visit has created some puzzles and set tongues wagging among PDP and APC faithful in Abia State, with some of them fearing that the visit of the chieftains to OT may mean something deeper. Dr. Emmanuel, while a lot of good things are going on in Abia State, Governor Oti is of the Labour Party. And apparently former speakers and ex-governor, they are backing him up in his governance. Why should it cause panic within APC and PDP in Abia State?
Well, first, it's normal that they feel panicked. The way we play politics in this part of the country is a winner takes it all situation. And any attempt for a winner to open his doors will presuppose that a political party is likely to lose some of its membership, particularly given the fact that we have the most free entry and exit systems politically in this part of the world, where people move from one set to the other. But be it as it may, for me, it's a welcome development. It's a very good thing that this is happening. First, it means a governor who is ready to be inclusive as much as he can. Again, we are seeing for the first time, what we know opposition parties to do, or people for opposition parties to do, is critique for the sake of critiquing. And so if we find where opposition party members are commending and wanting to be part of, and like those that spoke said, it's time for governance. And what's more important, it's what becomes of Abians. So I commend the entire, I commend those that have taken the initiative to do what they've done, and I also commend the governor for the level of openness to receiving such caliber of persons. The truth be told, Abia has suffered over the years, and if for the first time there is this kind of reception to a leader, every other person should encourage it and then be part of it, whether you are in that political party or not.
Well, if you look at it from the political perspective, don't you think that APC and PDP in Abia State may actually have cause to be concerned now? Because in the past 16 years or more, Abia State has suffered bad governance, like you rightly mentioned. Now, if Alex Otti of the Labour Party has come on board and he's doing great things in Abia State, there is every tendency that come 2027, it's just a walkover. The elections might be a walkover for him. And then probably these people that are supporting him are also being strategic and want to, by the reason of the influence he's going to have and possible emergence as the governor again in 2027. Don't you think they are trying to align themselves politically with what will be on ground in 2027?
Every politician is expected to be strategic. And so if you call that a strategy, yes, it's correct, in my view. So what you find normally is that, I've said it severally, that there are no political parties in Nigeria.
What do we have then?
Platforms for people to assume leadership roles and or to line their pockets. I've said that severally, and that's by definition of the situation we find ourselves. So you may not be far from it. If you find people looking at the scanning the environment and thinking that, hey, that's true, if this person is doing as good as he's doing, then a platform which he carries could be a better platform for us to remain in power or close to power going forward. Yes, it could be a correct guess. Without that, I will tell you that we are tending to moving towards looking at people, and that's what I have suggested for a very long time. Instead of looking for political parties, the electorate must begin to tinker with people and the antecedents, and then be able to say whether this person comes from a majority party or a minority party, because he has tendencies to give results, we should go for him. And I think that was what happened to Anoti becoming a governor in a supposed PDP, APC majority state. So if that is it, the electors should take note of these persons and also begin to ask themselves if the other assumption is what is pushing them to do what they're doing. Remember I said I commended their actions, but if that's what they're actually doing, then the electors have a duty to begin from now to assess these persons. Who have they been in the past? And who will they be? So at the appropriate time, should they put themselves forward, there'll be proper basis for tinkering with either supporting or not supporting them.
All right. Okay. Women groups under the People's Democratic Party in Nasarawa State have appealed to the country's political leadership to make way for women to hold higher political offices like state governors and vice presidents. The women, led by the wife of the 2023 governorship candidate of the party, Miranda Ashazi Ombugadu, urged President Bola Tinubu to pave way for women to assume position of state executive. Making the appeal in Akwanga, Mrs. Ombugadu said, having played an active role in the political evolution of the country, the women folk can be trusted with higher offices. She urged the president to ensure that more women are appointed into his cabinet, the national and state assemblies for equity and fair play, adding that the current political arrangement is tilted in favor of the men folk. She said, I am looking forward to seeing more women as senators, ministers, and governors. The 2024 team, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, resonates with my vision for every woman in Nasarawa State. Dr. Emmanuel, do you think women are being marginalized politically in Nigeria?
There is a way to answer this question. First, maybe I take this opportunity to say Happy Women's Day in Area.
Thank you very much.
As it were. But the fact is this. Are they marginalized? Maybe circumstantially. Maybe they've not done enough. Maybe they need to do much more than what they think they're doing. Maybe even the style they are using to asking for what they think they are asking for is actually completely out of place. Okay. I can't remember men sitting down to asking that they should be given a special place for them to have grown to where they are today. I can't remember. See, when we have the mindset of dash, it will come. Power will never come. Women are, for me, better placed to make things happen than asking for it to happen. And that's my position. You have, by so-called estimated population, we have more women than men in the country. That's the first thing. So it simply tells you that there are more women. And so if women actually want a thing, they shouldn't be asking for it or for it. They can mobilize themselves to getting what they want. But with a mindset of give us special, if you give women special privilege, who will give the men special privilege, or who will give the youths special privilege? It's neither here or there. I've heard some persons say women with better presidents and women with better governors, and I ask myself, the few that we have put in one place or the other, how far? That is a normal human nature. As bad as you think some men will be, you also find women in the same shoe. In the same variable too, that also does not mean that there won't be very good women. There could be excellently good women. Of course, some of them are in the private sector and we're seeing them doing beautifully very well, excellently very well. And I keep telling people the likes of Okonjo-Iweala has established herself as somebody who can stand anybody at any time. And I wonder if she was ever given any special privilege because she was a woman. She was never given any special privilege because she was a woman. And today she's the president of the World Bank, as it were. So let women begin to do rethinking. And then perhaps re-strategize, ask themselves what is failing in their ability to mobilize themselves to power, as it were. If they don't do that and they keep taking this route, I don't see any woman becoming a governor in Nigeria. I don't see any woman becoming a president in Nigeria. Yes, you can ask the president or any governor for appointment positions. That's not a problem, if you ask me. But for an elected position, women should be ready to show their mettle. They should be ready to compete in an open ground to show that they do it. They do it. In their businesses, they do it. You hear the stories of saying political meetings are held in the night. Most serious business meetings are not held in the day now.
Now, Dr. Emmanuel, let's come down to history. You know, about women's riot. It started with women.
Nobody gave them...
From other states and then spread to Aba. And they were rioting against taxation on women. Let's come down to much later down the years, the wife of Kuti, Mrs. Kuti, also galvanized women and rioted, still against taxation. Women over the years have been able to change the course of events, even during the era of the colonial masters, during the era of military regime. Women have always been fearless when they want to do things. They go all out and they get things done. Now, let's trickle it down to current realities. You remember Sarah Jibril, who contested for the position of president. She was the only one that voted for herself, and that was amidst the call of women saying, support women, women supporting women, you know, feminism in Nigeria. Then let's still boil it down to the current, the modern woman, the woman in 2024 strongly believes that what a man can do, a woman can do even better. So why is it that when it comes to politics, women come with some sense of entitlement? They want hand-me-downs. In the political ecosystem, there are names that are heard consistently because of their input, either because of how they critique the government or because of how they've been vocal in supporting certain policies, you know, but they've made a mark, you know, created a niche for themselves. And these are men. So when they are coming for political position, they are grassroots men. It's a no-brainer, right? But when it comes to women, from the blues during election, they will bring out a name you've never heard before, and the person is picked up as a running mate or, you know, picked up as, but you know it's a compensatory position. It's not even merited. It's not earned. So when there is a call to the president to, let me use the word, pave way for women to become vice president, to pave a way means we are not willing to clear the road. You need to use the tractor and make the crooked path straight for us, so we just gallivant into that position. Do you think that women are actually living up to the expectations that they have given themselves?
I said that before. It's neither here or there. First, it shows that you don't actually intend to get it. Nobody spoon feeds anybody in politics. Nobody does that. There are certain things you need to do. Jubilee was supposed to be a presidential candidate, or she was actually a presidential candidate. The question is, I never knew how many places Jubilee ever attempted going to. I never can tell how many states, how many LGAs ever went to say, I am actually vying.
Or how she lobbied within her political party, even at the primary level.
There are things you need to do over time. And because I think it's one lazy way of asking for power, and I'm not sure it's feasible. Nobody will give it to you. Nobody will give it to you. Stop deceiving yourself. The best you can get is political appointments, if that's the way you want to go. But if you need an elected position, you need to walk through it. We saw women who contested elections as assembly members and as National Assembly members who stood their ground. They won men severally.
But the question, Dr. Emmanuel, is what are these women even doing?
You must come out and see. Okay, let's look at. To win an election is not one day thing. Let's be very. It's not something you just come out one day to say. People need to understand who you are.
It takes years.
What you're driving.
Your
vision. Who you are in the political party. You don't just come from anywhere and think that you can just come and take power. It's not done anywhere. What's your contribution? You must make people know you. And the question is, how many women are ready to pass through that long? Because it's actually rigorous. It's actually rigorous. Now you're saying people should give it to you
on a platter.
On a platter of gold.
Because of your gender.
Because you're a woman. And I'm asking, who does that?
Nigerian women.
It won't happen.
Okay, do you think, okay, first of all, the elected women in position. Let's look at the women in politics, actually. Can you tell of any Nigerian woman who has been in elected position or who is currently in elected position who is making impact? Either as a vice, either as a deputy governor, or deputy governor is actually not an elected position.
It is an elected position.
The person was chosen by
a running
mate.
But without that person, you cannot contest.
As a
That's what the law says.
Yes, that's but it was actually the choice, which means it could have been another person.
Whichever the issue that you had calculated that it's only with that person you will win.
Okay.
So it's actually a strategy.
The female vote.
Maybe that's the reason why they have chosen that person.
All right. On one hand, then on the other hand, then women in, let's say, National Assembly, women that were actually elected into their position, what impact are they making?
That's part of the challenge. That's part of the challenge.
That we even encourage Nigerians to say, okay, let's try women now.
That's part of the challenge. Now, again, you will hear them say, of course, for democracy is one funny thing where, in most, if not all the cases, you find the voice of the majority fools ruling. So it may be a question of I'm a minority in the house, as whatever I said was drowned. So that could be a good excuse for somebody in the assembly, for instance. A woman could just come up and maybe she will be shouted down because there are majority persons. And of course, whatever she wants to say may not.
Can she call a press conference?
Of course, yes, she could call a conference, but it will have no real impact. I will tell you. You find what do the opposition parties do when they are small? You keep calling press conference and will keep making policies and the policies will keep going. It's a very simple. That's one of the bitter aspects of democracy.
But then the strategy in it is that your name will keep being
I agree. That I agree.
So you'll be a household member.
That I agree. But I've always told you the reason why people get into politics, many of them get into politics, not because they actually want to serve. The truth is that it's a platform for pocket lining. And so in which case, as soon as they get inside, they get shot.
Okay.
So their purpose is whether they are women or they are men. So that itself has an implication to their behavior when they get to such places. And of course, that behavior will always have an outcome. And part of the outcome is that, like most men, they are also not seen as serious people to be considered for any serious further engagement elsewhere.
Okay. All right. So, in your opinion, for now, women are not ready.
Then I've said that before. They are not ready. Okay. And that if they are ready, it's a very simple thing to do. First is to galvanize themselves. But let's take a very simple thing. There are 3 or 4 assembly members that are women, for instance, in a state. How much can they need to gather women in that state? To engage women in that state for a purpose? If those 3 assembly members are ready to sacrifice their time to engage women in that state, reasonably, meaningfully, for 3-4 years,
women would automatically.
They will get.
They have the vote of the women.
If not for themselves alone, they will be able to get better persons amongst themselves that will become whatever in that state. It's a very simple thing to do. And of course, every woman is a mother. Every woman is a sister.
A wife.
A wife. So you can.
So you
also have a chain. You also have a chain of sympathy that may likely come. So for me, it's a question of
women
begging the wrong team.
Women stand a very good chance.
A better chance. And stop telling us that they are weak. They are not weak. They have more power. Just that I'm not sure they know the amount of power they have.
They don't know how to use it. All right, we'll go on the break. When we come back, we'll continue. Do not go away.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are 2 sets of people on earth. The oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the tongue thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on 18.
Welcome back. A member of the House of Representatives and Chairman, House Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Honorable Ikenga Ugochinyere, has lambasted the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for allegedly turning the burial of the late Access Holdings PLC GCEO, Herbert Wigwe, wife and first son, to a venue for political attack on Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara. Ugochinyele's reaction comes on the heels of a banter between the Governor Fubara and Akpabio at the Wigwe's funerals in Ishokbo, Ikwere local government area of Rivers State on Saturday. Governor Fubara had, while delivering his tribute at the burial ceremony, said, "What's all this struggle about? You want to kill, bury, what is it all about?" Speaking later and apparently responding to Governor Fubara, the Senate President said, "What's the struggle about? I will answer you. In 2006, I wanted to be deputy governor. The then deputy governor invited me and said, 'This office has no money. There is nothing in it. I don't know why you're still insisting on removing me from here and taking over.' So a woman who went with me said, 'Your Excellency, then don't wait for impeachment. Just resign if there is nothing in it.' And I said, 'It's true. That's why I want it. You're too big for it.' So, Mr. Fubara, if there is nothing in the struggle, don't struggle. But reacting to the banter, Honorable Ugo Chinyere, who represents Idaton North/South Federal Constituency of Imo State, in a statement on Saturday described Akpabio's utterance as childish and unnecessary. Dr. Emmanuel, you're not unaware of the whole drama that happened, at the Wigwe's funeral, the very sad event that happened during the weekend. What's your take on Akpabio's utterance?
First, with all due respect to the office of the Senate President of Nigeria, Mr. Akpabio, for me, most if not all the time, is an unsensitive person when he talks. First was the environment. I recalled how he did similar thing at the opening of the NDDC house in Rivers State, for which then Governor Wike took him on almost on the spot. Of course, they were alike, so it's simple to take him on to the cleaners. I also remember how insensitive he was at a time when Nigerians were crying over the economic crunch. On national TV, he opened his mouth too wide to tell Nigerians how much senators were going to be sharing for a vacation, until a member cautioned, and he changed it to a prayer that we sent to their email boxes. Clear insensitivity. Clear insensitivity. Well, one may not blame him. It shows a society where the worst of us have been made to lead us. That's what it simply shows. Leadership comes with sensitivity. You must understand empathy. You must understand how to relate. The example and scenario he even cited, simply showed desperation. And indeed confirms perhaps what Governor Similaye Fubara posited. People wanting to kill because they want to assume political office. People wanting to do anything because they want to. And of course, if anybody is sane, he will understand that all that we are pursuing actually is actually vanity, complete vanity. Apart from being a Senate president, I'm not sure he is a match to Ewigwe in accomplishments. As if Ewigwe could go the way he had gone, how else will Fubara have described man's struggle on earth, if not vanity? And for him to see it shows the character he's made up of, that he belongs to the school that will go for anything just because they want to attain societal position, wealth, etc. I'm ashamed of my Senate president. He is my Senate president because I'm a Nigerian. But truth be told, what Ikenga had just said is a fact that cannot be thrown away. I hope the Senate could be able to sit and then recheck herself and ask her leader what kind of Senate he is representing outside. We must begin to understand what leadership is, where to say certain things and where not to say certain things. He is the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He must respect that office if he doesn't respect himself.
Right. You're right. The Abuja division of the Federal High Court has been asked to deregister the Labour Party. The court in the suit marked FHC/ABJ/CS/301/2024 equally asked to bar the party from further fielding candidates in any election being conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Cited as the first to the fourth defendants in the suit that was brought by a group under the aegis of the Incorporated Trustees of Center for Reform and Public Advocacy are INEC Labour Party, chairman of the party Julius Abure, as well as the two factional chairmen, Lamidi Apapa. The plaintiff told the court that contrary to the provisions of both the 1999 Constitution as amended and the Constitution of the Labour Party, the party has failed to conduct its national convention since 2019. Specifically, the plaintiff is seeking a declaration that it is illegal, unconstitutional, and void for the first defendant, that is INEC, to continue and their candidates should be banned and not considered fit for any electoral position. What's your take on this?
It's a pity that our systems that are supposed to work on their own have refused or failed grossly to work. There are several legal provisions that are supposed to take care of not just this case, but several other cases that have been breached. All the parties after every election is supposed to make certain statements of account to INEC. I can assure you that up till this time, many of them have not. Some from 1999 till date have not. And yet, the law has not taken its course. My biggest worry is that even as good as this case is, it will be thrown out most probably on grounds of locus, whether those that have brought the case have the locus to so bring or not, may be just the ground for which this sweet case will be thrown away. Yes, today is Labour Party, but I can assure you that if we look very well, there are several breaches for most of, if not all the parties, for which provisions are clear on what here we are. It may never happen. And even this case may end up being thrown out on grounds of locus, whether or not they have the locus to carry on this case. And that's how bad it is. Ordinarily, this is one case that should test INEC and the other agencies that are supposed to look at these parties, whether they're actually doing what they ought to do. The Constitution and the laws of the land have provided for several rules. We must learn to respect law as people.
Okay, well, there is a school of thought that is of the opinion that this could be a political move. You know, there are two major political gladiators in the country, and it appears that Labour Party from nowhere, seemingly a mushroom party, like it used to be categorized before, suddenly from nowhere during the last elections became the party of the masses, you know, and the party of the youths. And, you know, they gave PDP and APC a run for their money. Now, also they were able to clinch certain positions in certain states as well. Now, could this be a move, a political move to ensure that this third party that is springing up, that seems to be a threat to these other two gladiators, you know, they are snuffed out at infancy?
Okay. The first is the fact that there is no sentiment in law.
Okay.
It's like somebody saying, I stole and I was reported because they hate me. Because the person that caught me had been planning me.
But the person did not send you to go and steal.
So it doesn't remove the issue.
The fact that you're culpable.
Yes, that's where I'm concerned. So the other sentiments may or may not be right. So I'm not even ready to get into it. The fact is, from 2019 till date, were you supposed to hold conventions as provided for both in the 1999 Constitution of the country and your party's constitution? Have you breached it? What are the provided consequences when you do? Like I said before, this is just convention. But there are also other parts of the law, even in the INEC law, that provides that parties should make accounts.
And these other parties...
And many parties too have also not done that.
So is the court going to deregister all political parties then?
If that is what it is, if that's what the law says.
So they can be...
So the law should do it. And what my concern and my anger is that we have systems that are not working. And when systems don't work, what it does is to ask people to take laws into their hand.
Okay.
And that's why you're seeing what the law will end up calling meddlesome interlopers coming in to do what the system was supposed to do on their own.
Interesting.
Because what you will find out, and I keep saying it, yes, as beautiful as the case may be, in the next 1 week or thereabout, you hear a judge coming out to say that they have no locus. And so the case is thrown out.
It is what it is. Fingers crossed, we'll see how the case...
And then it will be the substance of the case. Nobody will hear the substance of whether or not they actually breached the provision.
Thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel, for coming on Open Conversation this morning. It's always a pleasure.
Always my pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. Stay connected to us on all our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia Choma. Transition News comes up next. Don't go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
You condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said $3,000 is 1,000 to collect $3,000.